Hello, everyone, and welcome to our March 3rd regular council meeting. It's 4:30 here now, and we're about ready to start over here. First off, do we got any announcements from anybody? Some announcements? Councillor Claude.
Thank you. Just a reminder here that senior members of our community are invited to register for the Be Scam Smart AI and Fraud Awareness Prevention Program from noon till 3 p.m. Tuesday, March 24th at the BCF. It's put on by FCSS in partnership with Citizens on Patrol, Pioneer Trail Center, and offers some great tips for just being aware of fraud prevention. Registration is required, so call Karen at 823-1317 to register, or register online at drumheller.ca. I just want to say as well, congratulations to the community of Midland Vale, on the completion of their accessible rink project. It's an incredible facility, and it's that kind of community buy-in that just makes Drumheller, a great community and an envy of other communities.
All right, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Anybody else got an announcement? Councillor McNeil.
Sure, thank you. Just a reminder that Wild Rose Assessment Services will be available to talk to residents about their property assessments in person at Town Hall. And the dates are Monday, March 16th from 8:30 a.m. until 12 noon, and then Wednesday, March 25th from 2 p.m. until 7 p.m. For more information or to book an appointment, you can contact info@drumheller.ca or phone 403-823-1313.
Thank you for that. And Councillor Zarisky.
Town of Drumheller FCSS is pleased to once again offer the volunteer tax program to support our low-income community members during tax season. These forms will be available for pickup beginning March the 1st at Friesen Brothers, Riverside Valley Drug Mart, Drumheller Public Library, and the Town Hall. And completed packages can be dropped off at the Drumheller Public Library during regular library hours or placed in the library book drop after hours. If you want more information, please contact Sandra at 403-823-136 something. 13667. And I believe Bill Wolf is still working on this, is he not? No? I think so.
Okay, thank you for that, Tom. Councillor Zaritsky. All right, myself, it's calling all chili aficionados. The Drumheller Legion is celebrating their centenary in 2026, and this is an opportunity to join the branch in their year-long celebrations. Anyone interested in showcasing their chili making skills and having a lot of fun, please join us on March 14th and let the world taste your famous chili. Entry forms are available at the Legion Club Room. The public will be the judges, and all the proceeds will be donated to minor hockey. So a good event there at the Legion on the 14th. All right, and that's it for our announcements. Okay, so we'll go for the adoption of the agenda of our regular council meeting. Can I get an? Oh, did I miss something?
Administration would like to add an emergent item to the agenda. We're requesting addition for item 6.1.3 under the CAO office, revision of 2025-26 council, board, and committee appointments, please.
Okay, thank you for that. Can I get someone to adopt the amended agenda? Councillor Zarisky.
Yeah, I move the council adopts the agenda for the March 3rd, 2026 amended regular council meeting as presented.
Thank you. Can I get a seconder? Oh. Okay, thanks. Councillor Hanson, thank you. All right, all in favor? Okay, carried. Thank you. All right, and then adoption of the minutes for February 10th from our Committee of the Whole meeting. Can I get a motion for that one? Councillor Miller?
I move that council approves the minutes for the February 10th, 2026 Committee of the Whole meeting as presented.
Thank you. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Hardy? And all in favor? Okay. Motion. Pardon?
I noticed an error. Can I just comment on that, please?
Yeah.
For the
go.
February 10th, there is a motion, and it's under motion 2026.070. And opposed, it reads Councillor McNeil, and I believe this should read Councillor Miller. I made the motion, but I didn't oppose it.
Would you like to change that motion to be accept the minutes as amended?
Certainly.
Okay, so you want to do that?
I can do that. I move the council approves the minutes for February 10th, 2026 Committee of the Whole meeting as amended.
Okay, thank you for that. Can I get a seconder on that? Councillor Hardy? All in favor now? Okay. Carried. Thank you. Good catch there. All right, and then our minutes from our February 17th regular council meeting, our regular minutes, our draft minutes there. Can I get a motion for that? Deputy Mayor Kalafa?
I move the council approves the minutes of the February 17th, 2026 regular council meeting as presented.
Thank you for that. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Hanson, all in favor? Okay, motion carried. All right, thank you for that. And then we got our Drumheller and District Seniors Foundation meeting minutes from January 29th. Can I get someone to make a motion for that one? Councillor Zrisky?
I move that council accepts the Drumheller District Seniors Foundation meeting minutes for the January 29th, 2026 regular meeting as information.
Thank you. Can I get a seconder? Councillor McNeil. All in favor? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, now the Drumheller Public Library Board, the regular meeting minutes. Can I get a motion on that one? Councillor McNeil.
I move that council accepts the Drumheller Public Library Board meeting minutes for January 22nd, 2026, the regular meeting as information.
Okay, thank you for that. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Miller. Okay, and then all in favor? All right, motion carried. Thank you. All right, now on to our reports from our admin, our CEO.
Thank you, Your Worship. Our first report today is for NACMINE Central Modification of Land Designation Bylaw number 02.26. So the proposed NACMINE bylaw underwent first reading on January 20th, 2026. In accordance with the requirements of the MGA, the town held a public hearing on February 17th. There were no presentations either in support or in opposition for the bylaw. As the statutory advertising requirements have been met, council now may proceed with second and third reading of this bylaw. And just as a reminder, this is a designation, a land designation change with regards to the current lands being switched from ER to PUL. So administration's recommendation is that council proceeds with second reading followed by third and final reading. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mrs. Campbell. So can I get a motion to second that? Councillor Hardy?
I'll move that council give second reading to Nakmine Central modification of land designation bylaw number 02.26 as presented.
Okay, thank you for that. Can I get someone to second or third? Second it, yes, Miller. Councillor Miller, thank you. All right, all in favor? Okay. Now, we'll go on to is that our third? So now can I get someone to give me a motion for the third reading on that one? Deputy Mayor Kalafa?
I move the council give third and final reading to Nakmine Central modification of land designation bylaw 02.26 as presented.
Thank you for that. Councillor Hanson, all in favor then? Okay. All carried. Thank you. And now we got the Rosedale East land.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. So this one is for the Rosedale East removal of land designation bylaw number 03.26. This proposed bylaw did undergo first reading as well on January 20th, 2026. And again, in accordance with the requirements of the MGA, we did hold a public hearing on February 17th. There were no presentations either in support or in opposition to this bylaw. As the statutory advertising requirements have been met, council may now proceed with second and third reading. And again, this is a change in designation from municipal reserve to a public utility lot in Rosedale related to the flood mitigation project. Therefore, administration's recommendation is that council today gives second and third and final reading to the bylaw. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Mrs. Campbell. Can I get a motion? Councillor Zarisky?
I move that council give second reading to Rosedale East removal of land designation bylaw number 03.26 as presented.
Thank you, Councillor Zarisky. Can I get a seconder? Councillor McNeil? All right, all in favor? Okay, motion carried. All right, now we get our third and final reading for that. Councillor Miller?
I move that council gives third and final reading to Rosedale East removal of land designation bylaw number 03.26 as presented.
Thank you for that. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Hardy? All in favor? Okay, motion carried. All right, now we got our additional emergent thing, our 6.1.3. And that is, all right, and you're gonna read this?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
got a
you, Your Worship.
presentation? Thank you.
In accordance with the council procedure bylaw number 33.25, council approved our 25-26 schedule of council board and committee appointments back on October 27th. This happened during our organizational meeting, and then we did make a couple of amendments since then to the schedule of appointments on November 18th and December 16th. Recently, a decision was made that Councillor Henson is stepping down from the Drumheller Stampede and Agricultural Society Board. Therefore, council now needs to appoint a new council representative to the board. Alternatively, I also wanted to mention that council may choose to not directly participate further with direct board participation in the Drumheller Stampede and Ag Society as an external agency. Instead, as a recipient of a large value of town in-kind support, the Ag Society would instead be required to present as a delegation to council on an annual basis and continue to submit copies of their board meeting minutes as information to council. So currently, the town does have an agreement in place with the Ag Society where they lease approximately 60 acres of land for a total lease cost of $1 annually. Our lease is in place and doesn't expire until 2034, with an option to renew the lease for an additional 10 years. The town of Drumheller has appointed a representative to this board since 1998. Although council is not directly involved in the governance of the society, historically a council member has been appointed to the board given the sizable municipal lands that is utilized by the society. Based on the Ag Society's bylaws, their board consists of 9 directors, including the town of Drumheller representative. The board meets quarterly or as needed. The Ag Society is a management body governed by the Agricultural Societies Act and regulations. They are responsible for encouraging improvement in agriculture and enhancing quality of life for persons living in the community by developing educational programs, events, services, and facilities based on the needs of the community. Our appointments to boards and committees is a strategic policy. It's aligned with our strategic policy as it allows for input from council to an external decision-making body in which the town does have a vested interest. The financial impact for this report is as per our council remuneration policy. Any council members who do sit on an appointed board are reimbursed for their participation at $50 per meeting, up to a maximum of $1,000 annually. Other than that, there is no other financial implications to this decision. Upon approval or motion today, the Ag Society will be notified either of the new council member being appointed or any changes to our process. Administration's recommendation is that council proceeds with appointing a new representative to the board and that council adopts a revised schedule for 2025-26 to our council board and committees. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I'm gonna get someone to make a motion, or do we discuss? Motion first. All right. Can I get a motion? Okay. Deputy Mayor Cloughlin.
I'll move that council appoints Councillor Tom Zariski to the Drumheller Stampede and Agricultural Society and adopts the revised 2025-2026 schedule of council board and committee appointments as amended.
Thank you for that. Can I get a seconder? Councillor McNeil. All in, or any discussion at all here? You wanna? No? Okay. All in favor? All right. Okay. Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we have a presentation by our Director of Emergency and Protective Services, Mr. Peters.
Good evening, Your Worship and members of council, members of administration. My name is Greg Peters. I'm the Protective Services Director for the town of Drumheller. Please, as council, before you please review the request for decision regarding a renewal of our health and safety policy. In 2024, the AMSA, or Alberta Municipal Health and Safety Association, which we are a part, revised the audit tool to obtain a certificate of recognition which recognizes that the municipality has achieved a certain degree of safety and consistency, training, and overall well-being. That policy, however, must reflect the signature of the current mayor and current senior manager or CAO. Since this was signed with the prior administration, CAO and the prior mayor, this is brought before you tonight for review and signature eventually by the CAO and the mayor. We conduct these audits annually with an on-site audit. They are done internally, and then also every 3 years we bring in an outside agency to conduct an audit on our behalf, and we go elsewhere and audit other municipalities as well. In addition to requiring the signatures of the senior manager and mayor, the revised audit tool requires health and safety policy contain the following: a declaration of management's commitment to health and safety that addresses physical, psychological, and social well-being, general health and safety responsibilities of managers, supervisors, workers, and contractors, and the expectation that employees will comply with applicable legislation and the organization's own health and safety standards. For lack of a better term, this forms the basis, if you will, for staff to understand council's commitment to the town's health and safety program. I ask the council approve this motion, and I'm happy to answer any questions about the health and safety policy. The new numbering has been achieved with the assistance, the gracious assistance of legislative services, but the narrative, the policy statement remains the same as the previous version.
Okay, thank you for that,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Peters. Can I get anyone to make a motion? Councilor Miller,
I move the council adopts health and safety policy number P0226C as presented.
thank you for that. Can I get a seconder? Councilor Hanson. Any questions? Councilor Zawicki?
Yeah, thanks, Greg. I know when we implemented this policy a couple of years ago, one of the suggestions was that would kind of formalize and emphasize the need for safety. And I'm just wondering, has there been any kind of a difference, do we know, in incidents, in terms of health and safety of the staff?
Mr. Zabriskie, we've adopted new site hazard assessment forms, of which staff have gratefully, from my position, embraced the completion of a review of a new work site hazards, things that could endanger safety. These have remarkably shown a great response, literally hundreds of these being completed each quarter by staff. We did very well on our last internal audit, which was recently presented to the CAO. Health and safety message remains a day-to-day task to get it across to staff. And I believe staff understands our commitment and how concerned we are, and how we address things brought to our attention. For lack of more time, I perhaps am not as visible as I could be with staff as the health and safety officer, but we are holding our own, and we are presenting ourselves best as we can to staff. And the backing of this policy by council will mean is a significant thing for us to put across to staff, sir.
Thank you. Okay, Deputy Mayor Cloughlin.
Well, we're approving this policy today. It notes that the text of it hasn't changed, the layout has or whatever, but how often do we pull this down, go through it, and either do a review or just take a look? How often do we review this?
No, I understand, Mr. Calafa. No, it'll be posted, sir, in all facilities. It'll be posted here on Town Hall. We will address it at the next Health and Safety Committee meeting. Make sure everybody takes it back, understands the commitment of council to our program and the support that we enjoy. But if everybody sees it every day, I would say that's probably not the case. But we will be made aware of it. We will put it out to staff. The new council has assigned the new policy, and go from there.
I guess my question was more, how often do we actually review the policy to see that the items in it still pertain as an organization?
Every 3 years, Mr. Calafa, okay. Or upon a new council or a new CAO being in office. Sorry, I misunderstood you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, any further questions? Councilor McNeil.
Yes, thank you for this. Just wondering about the internal core audit that takes place on site. Was the last one last year? I'm just curious. I know it's every 3 years.
No,
but-
Ms. McNeil, it was completed in fall of 2025. And then we do our calculations. I don't do the calculations. The auditors do the calculations in the internal review. And it's then sent away for scrutinized and looked at, and make sure everything is where it should be, everything is valid that we're claiming. And then it's sent back to the auditors, who then, before I, of course, then present it to the CAO. And then I learn of the results of where we're at.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that's all good information there. The core requirement is to show that we have we have commitment to the health and safety program is what it's all about. Any other questions? We're all good? Okay, not seeing any more. Let's go for our votes. So all in favor then? Okay, motion carried. Thank you for that. So now we have our fire services waiver here. Okay.
Just for efficiency and presentation of facts and our request for decision, the fire chief, everybody can see, has joined me here. In 2024, we, in keeping with industry standards and to modernize our aging fire bylaw, the fire chief and myself put together a new bylaw, which subsequently was passed by the council of the day. In that, there have been significant changes in the fire response industry, emergency response in the last decade and a half. To that end, it was no longer everything's for free, for lack of a better term. Many communities, we are certainly not the first, and many communities before us have adopted a fee for service for fire services or response to fire alarms. This was not new in the industry at all, and we had done considerable research to make sure we were in line with what other municipalities were presenting to their councils and bylaws that were valid in various parts of the country. I talked to fire chiefs in Ontario and Nova Scotia, as well as British Columbia, and the chief has a wide range of contacts as well that we used to try to gather the most current and salient facts to present a bylaw that would be workable and accepted in the community and understood by all. To that end, we have adopted with the bylaw a fire alarm response where if someone has a false alarm, we respond to that. The first one is responded to for free. Anything beyond that, depending if it's a residence or commercial, there's then charged for the false response to call for service. Council is aware Drumheller and District Seniors Foundation has submitted a written request for council consideration to either waive false alarm fees charged to the foundation, given the nature of their facility, or to implement a $500 call maximum cap to help them alleviate expenses related to false alarms. It goes without saying the recouping of costs of fire resources being dispatched is necessary and required. The fire service itself, while necessary, is expensive to maintain, and it does place a burden on taxpayers. It is a service we must have, but as I said, nothing is for free. There's significant operational and financial burdens on the department and specifically on the fire service itself in the town. The advent of a location having numerous fire alarms and therefore requiring emergency response from our department was addressed in Schedule B of Bylaw 25.24. Each home and business in the department coverage permitted one false alarm to be attended free of charge each calendar year. Subsequent calls for service are then charged on an escalating scale. The repetitive nature of these calls, regardless of the cause, must be treated as a real and potential emergency by our firefighters and by the chief. As I think I mentioned in a previous council meeting, the thought of someone needing our response, but we don't go because we think it's just another false alarm, or we think there's going to be people upset because it costs money, is antithetical. And quite frankly, that's not the reason I do my job, and it certainly isn't the reason the fire chief does his job. When we get a call, we must attend. We are grateful when nothing has happened, and it indeed doesn't require a major fire service response. But however, I'm sure council understands our dilemma in what is being asked. We in no way want things to be more difficult for the Seniors Foundation and the Lodge administration and the CAO of the seniors. We in no way want to place an undue financial burden on anyone, but we have a mandate to protect the community. The fire chief takes it seriously. I take it seriously. And so this has brought us here, and this is where we're at. I'm happy to answer any questions, as is the chief.
All right, can I get a motion? Councillor Hardy?
I'll move that councillor accepts the correspondence from the Drumheller and District Seniors Foundation as information and maintains fire bylaw number 25.24 as adopted on December 2nd, 2024.
Can I get a second here? Councillor Miller? Any discussion on this? Councillor Zwiski? I knew you would.
Yeah, I'm not sure of my standing in this. So I chair the Drumheller District Seniors Foundation, obviously. And the ministerial order basically says when I'm talking about the foundation, I'm not a counselor. I'm basically wearing the hat of the foundation. So I'd like to speak as the foundation representative, if I could. If that would be all right.
Granted.
Yeah, so absolutely, I mean, safety always number one. Absolutely. A few exceptions in this situation that we kind of look at in the foundation. Just give you an example. So one of the things we had a meeting the other day with the residents and their families and talked about renter insurance. That you can get renter insurance that would cover things like calls from the fire department. And so we brought that up with a number of residents, and you know, it's a good idea. It's a wonderful thing, and some of them do have that. But the whole nature of the Seniors Foundation is of course very low income seniors. So unfortunately, there's many of the people there that absolutely could never afford, you know, any kind of renter insurance. So it would never cover anything like that. The costs of a fire call would come, you know, basically come right to the foundation. So that's just one example of it's a little bit different. Like we're not arguing the need for response. That's obvious. I mean, if there's any kind of a fire call, bunch of seniors, well, absolutely, we're not arguing that. I guess we are arguing to a certain extent the kind of the intent when we came up with the bylaw, when we were faced a number of years ago with thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of cost to Drumheller taxpayers for these false alarms. And many of the main perpetrators of these alarms were very much repetitive. They were doing it often and often, and it was basically negligence on their part was the reason that they were setting off the alarms all the time. And so that was kind of the thrust of the bylaw was to get at these people that were just not taking enough care and not doing what they should be doing. The fire alarms, the accidental fire alarms at the foundation residences are basically accidental. And they occur because we have seniors who forget things. We have seniors that do things. And that will happen, and that will continue to happen. There's no way we could stop that from happening. So it's not like we're a business that just doesn't take care of their fire system or you know, has a cat running around setting off the alarms or whatever. You know, we do everything we possibly can to prevent that in the foundation residences, but it's going to happen. It's just kind of the nature of the beast that these people do things accidentally and do set off these alarms. So what I'm getting at is just there's a few little differences here between like a company doing it and this situation. The other thing that I've talked about, of course, is that we have staff on site 24/7. So in terms of any kind of a fire, these people are there all the time, right down the hall. You know what I mean? It's not like it's an apartment building where, you know, you could have a fire and then the fire department is the only one that can and needs to get there. We have people on staff kind of all the time. And I guess the bottom line for the foundation is, this is basically taxpayers' money. That the foundation is in the predicament, I'll say predicament, of having to requisition the taxpayers of this area for money to pay for the extra expenses that I mean, we have revenue coming in from rent, grants from the government, etc., which do not cover the costs of the accommodation and care of these seniors. So any kind of amount of money that, you know, the foundation has to pay out is basically, you know what I mean? It's taxpayers' money. And the other problem that we have is that we have no idea how many false alarms might come up in 2026. Ideally, there would be none, but there might be 10. You know, like there. And so, how do we budget for that? I mean, the foundation has to have a balanced budget. It's not like the provincial government that can spend as whatever they want. We have to have a balanced budget. And so if we're going to get, you know, and I think looking at our budget for 2026, I believe we had a $7,000 surplus at the what we're planning on for our budget, which is not much considering it's a, you know, multi-million-dollar budget. Anyways, just a few comments and thoughts. And, you know, I mean, whatever happens, happens. And we absolutely, you know, if we have to attend every single thing, then we have to attend every single thing. And that's the way it is. But the charges could be difficult.
Deputy Mayor Kalafa.
Do we have a number from last year typically that the foundation has? Had false alarms, like, because it is an escalating fine?
We responded to the Sunshine Lodge twice last year. Historically, it has been higher than that, though. I know they have taken some steps to do some repairs and modernize some of the systems when they added the second wing or the additional wing. Historically, over the last 5 years, we are averaging 4.7 calls per year there for monitored alarms. We do other calls there; those are medical responses, but I think with some of the modernizations that they've done when they added the second wing, that may be showing a positive result.
Okay. False alarms aren't just our department. This is since the automation of these fire and security systems. Is there something with either the association is doing to lobby to be more proactive with these alarm companies that maybe aren't doing as good a job as they should of preventing these?
Mr. Kalafa, I investigated this and spoke to the alarm provider even for the lodge as to what was the cause of some of these. And it wasn't all human error, some of it. Perhaps there needs to be work done that I'm not qualified to speak of, electrical work or things, but we went to the head office and spoke to somebody to try to give us an idea of what could be happening here in keeping with the fairness doctrine, like what's going on. And we were left like saying, like, not all the alarms set off were indeed human error. Somebody, or, you know, as Mr. Mazursky mentioned, that does happen, but not all, sir, were that way.
With the bylaw, I didn't familiar myself completely. It's the first one's free, but is that the first one for the life of the property, or annually, or the ownership of the property, or
Per calendar year, sir?
per calendar year? Okay. I do understand Tom's argument that, yeah, the Sunshine Lodge requisitions us, the residents of the community, only to be paid back. I guess my thoughts would, I would be amiable to part of the letter here that if we didn't escalate them after, when you do go down the road, because the first is free, second I think is 500, and then it escalates after that. I think that that would kind of strike a balance, is my thought anyway.
Okay.
Just to add to the discussion a little bit, so in the request that we received, the request did also suggest the potential to max cap them at a $500 charge instead of the $1,000 charge, as they fall under the commercial designation of the two false alarm response categories. So should council wish to do that without amending or changing the increasing process of it, council option number 2 motion does suggest the potential to add registered charities and senior foundations to that residential category of false alarm service fees instead of the commercial or business side. So that was our way of adding in that option should council wish to keep the Seniors Foundation or any foundation for that matter capped at a false alarm fee of $500.
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Hardy?
My fear on this is it might be a slippery slope. We're going to be seeing these letters every month now for anyone that got a false alarm call is getting a bill. It's just my 2 cents.
To add to that, part of even the discussion around providing an option 2 was how do we have to keep it general enough, but not too general, because we don't want to start adding in individual waivers or changes for individuals or for individual organizations, because then that defeats the purpose of the bylaw. Sorry, from a personal note, my father is in a senior's home and we do get renter's insurance for him. And funny enough, I actually just renewed that for him and it came in at $159 a year.
Well, there's your option, is if you bought the whole place renter's insurance. All right. Any further input? And anybody got nothing else to add? All right, want to take a vote on it? Let's take a vote on your motion there of just taking it as information. Okay, all in favor? You made the motion? Yeah. Okay, all right. So, again, we'll make a motion. Yeah. All right. So there's four, and 5. Oh, I didn't see yours. Okay. 5-4, and all opposed, yeah. 2. Okay, motion's carried. All right. Now we're on to a closed session. So, thanks for joining us here tonight, folks, and I guess respect ourselves when we're out there. Okay. Oh, a motion to adjourn? Yeah. Motion to go into closed session. Okay. Councillor McNeil?
I move that council goes into closed session at 5:16 PM.
Uh,
I apologize, I will rephrase that motion. I move that council closes the meeting to the public at 5:16 PM to discuss derelict properties as per ATIA 20, disclosure harmful to personal privacy, and ATIA 29, advice from officials.
Thank you, Councillor McNeil. Seconder. Deputy Mayor Kalafa, all in favor? Okay, carried. Thank you. All right, bye for now.